All right. I think I'm the only person qualified to even be able to say this. From growing up in Northern California, coming to Southern California, actually living in the South, I think I'm the one person who is truly qualified and can make you understand how we got here. So let me give you all the BS that everybody wants with a couple of black individuals who says something to Mexican OT. We'll play that clip. I'll get into a little bit, and then the real actually will come out, because there is something that everybody is missing in this, and I don't understand, but yet I do, because they don't know. So if you allow me, stay the whole entire way, watch this whole entire thing so you can understand exactly how we got here, what happened, and exactly what to do. Let's go.
They say, man, kid that did Sauce Walker. I did an interview last night. Shout out to my boy, there's a project, he'll be dropping soon. The subject in hand, Mexican OT. See, now, at first when I was speaking on what I was speaking on, I was only talking about the I seen on Say Cheese with the girl and all that on Say Cheese. My bro Denzel showed me the interview and showed me exactly verbatim what Mexican OT said on the interview on the podcast with all the women. OT, get you wrong, ho. I'm gonna tell you why you wrong, little bro. I'm gonna tell you why you wrong, OT. And you got a black brother. That's what you partially was finna get into it, but you didn't want to get into it. Know what I'm saying? You got a whole 50% black nigga that's mixed, a real nigga that's your brother, so you should feel 100%. He should feel what I'm saying. What about this part? I ain't with you about saying, can you say because you grew up with us, went through all this with us, you love us, you been through everything that you've been through, so that's why you feel you say you can say nigga. The problem and the issue is the fact when you say in a room full of women, is there any black here? Is there any here? Well, if it is, then what you gonna do about it? That's where you at, brother. That's where the disrespect is. Because OT, you know, if you was in a room full of violent from Houston, full of violent like myself, TSL, niggas that's really from the H like that, and we was having that conversation and you said it in that way. Y'all said, because who's gonna do it about it? There would have been 6 in a room raising their hands saying they want to fight you. You know that. You know how they get down in Houston. You a Texas Crip. If a nigga come up to you and say, Mexican OT, you ain't no motherfucking Crip. And what you gonna do about it? You gonna want to fight about that. In the room gonna say, who ain't what squabble? And that's where the disrespect and the part is, OT, because at the end of the day, you know there's nothing but women in that room. There's a bunch of girls in that room. It was a now violent street that come from where you come from and been through what you've been through, or that's from somewhere else that's gonna disagree with you and with that statement to the point to where they'll fight you about that or they'll do something about that. So therefore, that's what people in the general public gonna take it like that's hoe shit, because you're doing something in the setting where people are going to consider it, where it's safe to say that right then and right there. Would you possibly say that around a room full of a bunch?
Cause I ain't even gonna lie, Trey, real, cause you know how these podcasts clip up and make shit look like cause on Crip, I got some motherfucking Vatos niggas with the Bennett that's gonna ride or die for a nigga. And on Crip, I love that motherfucker. I'm a Crip, cuz, and I love that motherfucker red, white, and green flag. You know what I'm talking about, cuz? For real, cuz. So it just was a little deeper in that, and how a nigga do with you, cuz, beyond some music. I just feel like your story, where you came from, cuz, like the trench, I feel like that shit, cuz you showing nigga fake, cuz. So you feel me? It just rubbed me the wrong way, right? But it's all love. Don't thought I cuz, much respect, cuz. Salute, gangster.
Man, I lost a whole lot of respect for Mexican OT. He say, I'm sorry, cousin. I felt like it was a stupid question, so I gave a stupid answer. I meant it deeper than the word, cousin. I could have said anything, and I would stand on it for my beliefs. Being strong strictly, no hate or ill in my heart. I got a lot of love for my brother and sisterhood, man. Blessings, and I'm sorry to hurt my people. I hope y'all can forgive me. He been messing with me for some years. Stuff messed me up. I lost one of them. I'm sorry to anyone I've offended of any race or belief. Thank you to everyone who's still here.
It's for all y'all that keep DMing me about, you know what I'm saying, my Mexican OT comment, you know what I'm saying, me? Nigga, first and foremost, nigga, I'm Threezy, nigga, I'm from 34th Street, homie. You know what I'm talking about? I'm from TFGC, homie. You know what I mean? But it's just like in there with a gang of females, homie. That's it, homie. Like, you feel me? Like, and then again, bitches ask stupid ass questions and shit, cause like not respecting culture at the same time. They try to divide some shit to try to, you know what I'm saying? Me, that shit makes not, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't even mean to disrespect, you know what I'm saying, pretty ladies and women and shit like that, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you gotta use your brain when you doing shit. This shit is like nationwide, you know what I'm saying? This shit, you know what I'm saying, how we moving and what we pushing this shit. So sometimes you just gotta like not be doing shit just for like clickbait. And on thought I salute the grinding circle, you know what I'm saying? Just stay focused like this tip. In there with a gang of females, homie. That's it, homie. Like, you feel me? Like, and then again, ask stupid questions and shit, cause like not respecting culture at the same time. They try to divide some shit to try to, you know what I'm saying? Me, that shit makes not, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't even mean to disrespect, you know what I'm saying, pretty ladies and women and shit like that, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you gotta use your brain when you doing shit. It's like nationwide, you know what I'm saying? This shit, you know what I'm saying, how we moving and what we pushing this shit. So sometimes you just gotta like not be doing just for like click.
So let us understand that Mexican OT, because that's how he writes his name, that Mexican OT was wrong in his response because he isn't intelligent enough to articulate himself from which and where and whence he came and how he got there. That response was wrong. 1,000,000%. Because to say what you gonna do about it, you ain't gotta be from Texas or California to know you're supposed to get swung on for that. And then what do you prove? In this instance, violence ain't the answer, it's intelligence. So when I tell y'all we gonna get the real is about to happen right now. Once you're done with this, you'll understand exactly what the hell happened. Take a look. Inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Cesar Chavez was committed to nonviolent methods. He organized marches, fasts, and peaceful protests for farm workers' rights. Cesar Chavez co-founded United Farm Workers, UFW. He negotiated the labor contract between UFW and grape growers. His actions resulted in the California Agricultural Labor Relations Act of 1975. But we're going to dig a little bit deeper because this surface level stuff ain't going to cut it. You know I got y'all. If you can't hit the like button, spread this video out here, man. I'm about to give y'all a grim look and a great look at educating the masses when chaos is ensuing. We're better together than we are apart. There's a reason for that. Cesar Chavez was a prominent labor leader and civil rights activist, particularly for farm workers, while Martin Luther King was a leader in the broader civil rights movement focused on racial equality. While they admired each other's work and shared commitment to nonviolence, they were distinct figures with separate bodies of work. Here's a more detailed explanation. Distinct movements. Cesar Chavez focused on the rights of farm workers, organizing them into United Farm Workers, the UFW, and advocated for better wages, working conditions, and protections against harmful pesticides. Martin Luther King Jr. led the fight against racial segregation and discrimination, advocating for equal rights for African Americans. Then shared values. Both Chavez and King were strong advocates for nonviolent resistance as a means to achieve social change. Chavez frequently referenced King's work and teachings, acknowledging the influence of King's philosophy on his own activism, communication, and support. And this is where it gets crazy, because the next thing is going to blow your mind away. While they didn't meet in person, King and Chavez corresponded through telegrams and letters expressing mutual respect and support for each other's movements, according to Latino stories and the United farm workers. King sent a telegram to Chavez during his 1968 fast praising his courage and commitment to nonviolence. He showed us the way. A 1978 article, Chavez wrote about King's influence on his own work, stating, "For these lessons and for his sacrifice for the poor and oppressed, Dr. King's memory will be cherished in the hearts of the farm workers forever." He also delivered a speech titled Lessons of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the 22nd anniversary of King's assassination. That's power. This right here on the left, it says Chavez, and on the right is Martin Luther King. This is on a prominent middle school in Sacramento, California, called Martin Luther King Junior High School. I think it's Martin Luther King Junior High or Technical Junior High School, whatever the heck it is. You know how they put tech on everything now. But either way that goes, man, the fact still remains. This is the reason why the northern Mexicans or Hispanics versus the southern Hispanics get along with black people more readily. In California in particular, when blacks came to California, the main ones that came to Southern California were typically from Texas due to farming routes. Then you had the ones from Alabama that came, and they went from Southern California, got up to Central California, ergo Bakersfield and Fresno. That's why there's a lot of people who don't know this, but now you will. Then you have Louisiana, which went up north because of oil rigs. So they understood how to work the docks. That's why you see a lot of people from San Francisco, we'll just say the Bay Area in general. That's where you see that happen. But how does this correlate with Mexicans, Seti Nash? You showed us the Martin Luther King stuff and the Cesar Chavez stuff, but that don't give Mexicans the right to say the N-word. There is this thing that a lot of these cats don't understand that happened in 1972 again. And I had to say this because I already have it right here, all right? And it says, in 1972, the landscape of integration in California was complex and evolving. Here's a breakdown of key aspects: school desegregation efforts and resistance. The California Supreme Court recognized a broad right to desegregation under the state constitution. The legislature had briefly mandated actions by school boards to enforce this right. However, both these efforts were challenged and ultimately overturned by voter-approved propositions. Voter approved, by the way. However, it says Proposition 21, a ballot initiative in 1972 aimed to prohibit public school students from being assigned to schools based on their race or ethnicity. It also sought to eliminate provisions requiring school districts to develop plans to remedy ethnic and racial imbalances. Then you have Title IX that happens. But here's what people forget. You have the school systems start to follow and pay attention to the Black Panthers. Now, it's all going to make sense in a minute because I need people to understand this. I'm doing all this stuff in real time, so I could get rid of this, but I want y'all to understand how fast I work. And y'all going to be like, what? Ain't no way. But anyways, it's all going to make sense because it's going to break down to Oakland, California, right? And Oakland, California basically came up with the Black Panthers and their counterparts and the counterculture stuff and everything, but they had to understand, meaning the people out there, the white people out there, where they were at in classism, which the coalition, the Peachtree Coalition, came out. It came out of Chicago, to be exact, but it took over in Oakland in particular and spread out through all of California, with a black man being celebrated in Mexican culture for that act in 1972. You started to see a Mexican man embrace a black person when it typically wasn't, because we, aka blacks, we were in a different mindset at the time of buy the block, do all of these things. The same way that you see a lot of these Mexicans doing when they come here. You haven't seen a black man celebrated like that since Gaspar Yanga in Veracruz. Why is this important? Because once the Mexicans or the Hispanics started to come in the schools, then that integration started to happen. What happens when your kids hang out with other kids? What always happens? They start to pick up language. Black kids from their elders were taught the word nigga. The word nigga from black kids were taught to the Hispanic kids and to the white kids with all this integration going on. Previously, and this is why you hear Southern Mexicans say, well, a lot of Southern Mexicans say, yo, we not saying the N-word, bro. We don't say that. Because typically the Southsiders, not the Northerners, not the Norteños, the Southsiders run with the woods, run with the Aryans. Because Maria Sutra was not started by Mexicans. MS-13 was not started by Mexicans, by the way. I just want people to understand that part. That was by Salvadorians. Sorry, the phone was going off. So you have that. But the reason why the Mexicans say, or the Hispanics say, nigga, is because of the kids integrating that word to make it look cool. It's nothing to say that, damn, we taught them, meaning black people taught them how to say nigga. That's what happened. That's why you see certain white kids say it. Typically, the white kids that say it grew up in what? The hood. They grew up. They learned the word from who? Those around them in surroundings. Because had the kids been taught, hey, you don't say this right here, then that's what goes on. The parent corrects the child, not the other way around. But because of integration, certain words started to become fashionable, palatable, and acceptable. And that's what happened. Nothing more, nothing less. I grew up around Asians, whites, and Mexicans. And I am telling you, their parents were not saying that word. Their kids were. That's what happened. And with the explosion of the internet, with the explosion of music, with the explosion of, dare I say, cultural identity, that's how we got here. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want to argue with me, let me ask you a simple question. Who taught you how to say nigga? And who did you teach it to? If you're one of those black people who disagree. And if you say, I don't say the N-word and all that, we don't use this in our house, then you ain't qualified to speak on this. Because a man that I call my father, my second father, there was a whole entire Mexican. So trust me, I know. I ain't even Catholic, been to mass with him. Been one of the people that got me a job. My first job ever, pouring cement. In Northern California, amongst the Mexicans, my nickname is El Toro. I done techos, that's roofing, and I done security for the second biggest Mexican club in that city. So I definitely would know more than the next. That's why the youth are saying it, because the youth are amongst us as far as those who are saying this word. But hey, arriba Michoacán. Shout out to my second pops, mi segundo padre. Orale. But anyways, that's what that is, man. Anybody who tries to make it more than that, I don't know what to tell y'all. But let me say arriba Jalisco too, because I know how y'all get, man. Y'all get crazy. But that's it. I'll catch you on the next one.